Welcome to this explainer. You know that feeling when you're just stuck? Like you're running on a treadmill that literally never stops? You're caught in this endless, exhausting cycle of daily stress, endless obligations, and just this lingering, heavy sense of being trapped? Well, I'm here to tell you, you are absolutely not alone. In fact, you're experiencing something that ancient masters diagnosed centuries ago. Today, we're diving deep into a profound, ancient solution to this very modern epidemic of burnout. We're going to explore the concept of the invisible prison and exactly how a single radical shift in your perspective can completely unlock it.
Now we're kicking things off with this incredibly powerful verse from a classical Chan master. It just perfectly nails our situation, right? It describes us as prisoners in the prison of birth and death. Kind of grim, I know, but look at the second half. It offers an immediate way out. It says that by simply arousing something called bodhicitta, a person is instantly transformed, like overnight. We're going to unpack exactly what this invisible karmic prison actually is, how we completely unknowingly build it for ourselves, and most importantly, how we can break out.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, escaping the invisible prison. 2, the key, arousing bodhicitta. 3, your daily practice checklist. 4, transforming suffering into fuel. And 5, the path to true freedom. We're going to move quickly from ancient philosophy straight into highly practical tools you can start using literally today.
Okay, section 1, escaping the invisible prison. Let's figure out what we're actually up against here.
So when Chan masters talk about this prison of birth and death, they're definitely not talking about a physical place with iron bars. No, this is an invisible prison. And the wild part? According to the teachings, it's entirely constructed by our own karma, our ignorance, and our endless cyclical desires. It's a jail with absolutely no doors, yet we are completely, totally bound by it. Think of it like being stuck on a treadmill inside a hall of mirrors. The faster you run to try and get ahead, the more exhausted you become. And everywhere you look, you only see your own reflection. That's the prison. It's this self-centered suffering where we are constantly just reacting to the world, desperately trying to protect me and mine. Honestly, this ancient concept maps so perfectly onto our modern anxiety in the daily grind, doesn't it?
Section 2, the key, arousing bodhicitta. So if we are in a prison of our own making, what exactly is the key to escaping it?
The absolute key to breaking those heavy karmic chains is a radical psychological shift called bodhicitta. Now, if you're new to Buddhism, don't let the word intimidate you. Bodhicitta is not some distant magical superpower reserved for monks on a mountain. It's a highly practical, profound mindset shift. It's basically the transition from self-centeredness, where you're only worrying about your own happiness and avoiding your own pain, to a sincere, active desire to achieve awakening solely for the benefit and liberation of all sentient beings. It's a complete 180. A shift from me to everyone. And in the context of these teachings, the very moment the single thought arises, it acts as the literal key that shatters the locks of your karmic prison.
Check out what the revered Master Tsongkhapa has to say about this. He flat out states that without bodhicitta, you aren't truly practicing the Mahayana path at all. He emphasizes that arousing this specific mindset is the very beginning of practice, and it's the actual assurance of Buddhahood. Why is this so incredibly crucial? Because he's pointing out that a simple, deeply sincere intent matters way, way more than years of mechanical, unfeeling practice. It's not about how many hours you can sit perfectly still on a meditation cushion. It's about the deep-seated orientation of your heart. When your center of gravity genuinely shifts from yourself to others, your entire trajectory in life completely changes. To really crystallize this, let's compare these two mindsets side by side. On the ordinary person side, someone who's still totally trapped in the invisible prison, their focus is entirely self-centered. When they encounter pain, their immediate reaction is just to avoid it at all costs, right? And their ultimate goal is always some kind of personal reward. Now look at the child of Buddha side, someone who has actually aroused bodhicitta. Their focus centered on all beings. When they encounter pain, instead of just running away, they actually turn that pain into compassion for others who are also hurting. And their goal isn't a personal prize, it's the liberation of everyone. It's just a fundamental shift from being a reactive, stressed-out prisoner to a proactive, liberated presence in the world. All right, let's move to section 3, your daily practice checklist. Let's take all this high-level theory and make it super practical for a busy day.
The source material actually gives us this brilliant day-in-the-life routine to help anchor this vow. It's so actionable. So at 7 a.m., you start with a morning vow. Before the emails hit, before the chaos starts, you simply set the intention. May Bodhicitta arise in me today and never regress. Boom. Then, by 12 p.m., during your midday action, you reframe your tasks. You dedicate your labor, whatever it is you're doing, to the safety and benefit of others. Suddenly, it's not just a job anymore, it's a service. Then at 6 p.m., we practice evening empathy. When you face the inevitable stresses of the day, you use them. You make a wish that your experience of this specific hardship might actually absorb the bad karma of others. And finally, at 10 p.m., a nightly review. You just check your mind. Did you regress into selfishness today? If you did, hey, that's okay. You honestly acknowledge it, repent, and renew your vow. This simple routine sustains the whole mindset from waking up to falling asleep.
Section 4. Transforming suffering into fuel. Because let's face it, keeping a calm mind is easy until things go wrong. The real magic here, the alchemy of bodhicitta, is that it isn't just some peaceful thought meant for quiet meditation rooms. It's a tool that takes toxic situations and turns them into direct spiritual fuel. Here are 3 everyday steps to do this. Step 1. Reframe your work. When work feels like an unbearable burden, mentally pivot. View your labor as literally providing peace and service for society. Step 2 applies directly to our homes. When you experience family friction and emotional pressure, and we all do, don't just get angry. Reframe it as a custom-designed training ground for your own patience and compassion. It's basically a free gym for your mind. And step 3. When facing direct adversity, turn it into a vow. Use patience to actively dissolve your resentment, turning the bitterness of the obstacle into the very path of your practice. The texts also give us this incredibly handy mindfulness toolkit called the 5 Encounters Practice. It tells you exactly how to react no matter who crosses your path during a busy day. Check this out. If you encounter evil or hostility, you repay it with compassion. You literally turn resentment into the path. If you see poverty and suffering, let it trigger a deep wish to help them escape that pain. When you see wealth and nobility, don't get jealous. No way. Rejoice and genuinely wish they use their fortune to cultivate wisdom. When you encounter ignorance or foolishness, arouse compassion and wish them clarity. And when you meet fellow practitioners or wise people, respect them and wish to quickly achieve their level. Notice what's happening here? This leaves absolutely zero room for the ego to react negatively. Every single encounter, good or bad, becomes a rapid trigger for bodhicitta.
And that brings us to Section 5, the path to true freedom. Let's zoom out and look at the ultimate goal of all this.
No, there is a massive misconception that escaping this invisible prison means you have to physically run away from your life. On the left, we see this idea of escaping the world, quitting your job, leaving your family, moving to the woods to find peace in total isolation. But the true, deep practice of bodhicitta is on the right, awakening within the dust. I love that phrasing. It means waking up right in the middle of the mess. You do not need to leave the dust of the world. You actually use the chaos, the noise, and the suffering of your daily life as the exact place where your awakening happens. Because remember, the prison isn't your job. It isn't your responsibilities. The prison is your self-centered reaction to them. And this perfectly explains why a single, genuine thought of bodhicitta, just one true wish for the liberation of others over yourself, is compared to the very first light of dawn breaking through a dark, endless night. It's an instant shift. The moment that sincere thought arises, the texts say your destiny is fundamentally altered. You transition from an ordinary person, endlessly caught on that treadmill, to a true child of the Buddha. Your path opens up, and those heavy, invisible chains of karma, they just begin to dissolve in the light of that sunrise.
So we started today by validating that totally exhausting, trapped feeling so many of us walk around with. We've seen that the invisible prison of birth and death is really just a treadmill built by our own self-centered desires. But the absolutely incredible truth revealed by these Chan masters is that the door to this prison has actually been unlocked the entire time. The key is simply shifting your heart from me to everyone. You've got the daily checklist now, and you know how to turn your frustrations into literal fuel for your practice. So I guess the only question left to ask is, will you turn the key of bodhicitta today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep practicing, keep shifting that perspective, and I'll see you next time.